Hey everybody, it's Ginger on Wheels here again. Thanks for stopping by the channel for part 2 of the suspension upgrade on this Emove Cruiser version 2 from Voro Motors. You can support the channel by using the code Ginger on Wheels if you buy one of these from Voro Motors, but I'm tricking my scooter out. I'm gonna be doing a range test tomorrow and I'm gonna be nice and comfy, I hope, because we have 2 air shocks to put on the front of this thing today. Part 1 of the suspension upgrade was the rear, so this is obviously part 2. I have no idea how the air shocks are gonna work out though, so let's roll the intro and get into it. All right, I got my trusty Allen wrenches from PEVOutlet.com. We're definitely gonna need those. And I have got the DNM AO-6 air shock, 125 millimeter. Don't know how it's gonna work out. I'm pretty sure this is a nice shock though. It's one of 4, I think, that's in the universe that fits this thing. It does have a little valve here to fill up the air so you can inflate this thing, I think, up to 200 PSI, but the 600-pound springs were way too heavy for me in the front. They were way too stiff. I really hope these work, so let's pop them on there and see what happens. Just gonna unscrew these bolts. This is very easy on the front shock. You just take out these 2 bolts, take them off on the other side, and then pop the new suspension on. Okay, so there's our stock suspension right there. This AO-6 air shock comes with a little baggie that has your 2 little, I don't know what to call them really, shims, and then it's got the bushings for the outside, just like this shock has. You can see it's got 1, 2, and then the metal thingy that goes through the middle. I swear, if I didn't know any better, I'd say these were manufactured not to fit. Okay, I had an idea. Maybe these don't fit in this hole because it's so hot in here. Maybe if I put them in a bowl of ice, the metal will contract and then they'll just slide right in. It's working smarter, not harder, right? Well, shiver me timbers. It actually worked. I just took these out of the ice water, slid them right in. It's still really tight fit, so there's gonna be no pivoting happening whatsoever, really. So, gonna put the little bushings on the end here. I guess they're rubber spacers. The bushing is the silver piece. I forgot to hit them with grease. I'm not taking them back out though. If the stock ones didn't rotate and it didn't matter that much, then it won't matter that much for these ones, right? Right. I'm excited that they fit. And these air shocks, they're 125 millimeter, but when you pump them up full of air, they're actually a little bit longer. So I had to let the air out and push them down. So I guess we'll maybe get a little bit more travel. I don't know how much travel there is on the stock shock here, but I know there's 20 millimeters of travel on this one. All right, we're in the holes. That's what she said. Let's see if I can fit this other shock in there. Put my rubber pieces on. They're not even rubber, they're just hardened plastic. The tolerances that you would need to manufacture something like this is just not something you can do for $70 per shock, I don't think. They're just kind of winging it. Even though I feel like that's kind of a lot of money for one shock, I guess in the mountain bike world, that's like the lowest end shock you can possibly get. Look how smooth this one is. They should all fit like this. They managed to do one right. So if anything, this one will work. We'll have one working piece. I think I'm still gonna order the EXA forms in like 6 different spring strengths from somewhere. It's really hard to find like a 350-pound EXA form. There are a couple shops in China that have them online, but it's like 3 weeks shipping and you have to buy 5. But I think I'm still gonna buy a ton of different shocks and find which ones fit and make little shock kits for people that I can just sell on PEV Outlet and hopefully help someone fit their shocks. So this one's a little too short to fit into the hole, so I'm gonna lower my stand just a tiny bit onto the tire. Well, it's going on. There's that. At least it's installed, right? Okay, gotta do them both evenly. Don't wanna torque it because this is an air shock, and if you break the seal, then that'd be even more of a game over. I should have mentioned this in the beginning. With air shocks, you do need a pump to pump up the shock. This pump goes up to 250 PSI. All right, I'm gonna check the PSI with this little attachment thingy that I made, and hopefully I can get around 50 PSI in each one, and we'll see how it bounces. Oh, that's like 65. Okay, wish me luck. At least we got clearance underneath here, and it looks like this is gonna clear. I was worried about this big canister hitting the shock. This was a really wide diameter here, so it'd be terrible if I did all this for nothing. All right, Emove, don't let me down. Does it work? Oh, it does work. That's nice. That's really not too bad, honestly. So as it sits right now, with about 50 PSI in each one, that's really not bad. I think it does need a bit more though. I'm getting close to the bottom. The cool thing about air shocks is as the shock compresses, the air gets tighter and tighter in here. So it's like a progressive shock. It gets stiffer and stiffer the farther you go down in the travel. Let's throw a little bit more PSI in here. I'm gonna put 100 in. Right now this is at 105, 110. Just gotta do it as fast as you can. We did let a bit out, but that's what you get for buying a $20 pump. Now what's it like with actual air volume in it? That's nice. I like the front, that's actually really nice. It is very loud. Definitely better. All right, I'm gonna go for the range test with these on the front tomorrow. Hopefully when I'm all done with this and I got it all dialed, I can tell you guys exactly what sizes to buy. But for the record, the DNM AO-6 is not bad once you get it put on. Okay, so we've got the Emove Cruiser version 2. We have the AO-6 shocks, 125 mil, and then we have the EXA Form 291R, 125 millimeter on the back. And I've got the rebound almost all the way to the negative. I've got the preload screwed in about 3 screws. So this is what it looks like when I jump on it. I'm 220 pounds right now. It feels pretty much perfect for me. It's hard to say what it'll be like when I'm riding. And then my roommate weighs 160 pounds, so this is gonna be 60 pounds of difference on the shocks. I'd say, jumping on it. That goes down about 50–60%. So, like I said, I'm gonna put some more spring shocks on the front, and we're gonna see if we can make it even better. But my range test is tomorrow on this thing. I wanted it to be nice and comfortable. So we have got the shocks on the front, shocks on the back. I hope you at least learned how to put the shocks on. They might not be the right shocks for me or for you permanently, but I don't know what shocks to tell you to put on the front right now. If I had to guess for spring shocks, I would say somewhere in the ballpark of like 350 pounds. But you should subscribe to the channel and keep watching my videos on this thing, because like I said, I'm just gonna throw down like another 400 bucks on all the different varieties of shocks, and I'm going to eventually put them on here, and I'll find the perfect shocks for me, and I'll show you what it's like when my roommate bounces on them. I'm gonna get the 350s, the 450s, and maybe 150s, and try and put the EXA forms on there. And over the course of time, I'm sure I'll dial it in and I'll make another suspension video on this thing. But for now, this is gonna do for me. I'm gonna plug this bad boy in. I'm gonna lube up all the little bushings in here, undo all the screws, and put like grease on them. And I think I'll be good to go. It's pretty comfy for me. When I jump on it, it's really not bad. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to see the next video. It's gonna be the range test on this thing. Does it actually go 60 miles?